The NASA hacking incident 1999. In 1999, Jonathan James, a 15-year-old from Florida, used nothing more than a home computer and dial-up internet. He infiltrated NASA's network and downloaded $1.7 million worth of proprietary software that controlled vital life support systems aboard the International Space Station (ISS). He did this by finding governmental networks with weak or exposed access. With this, he gained access to a Department of Defense machine and installed a backdoor and a network sniffer there. That sniffer captured thousands of email messages and many usernames, passwords. With credentials captured from the DoD system, he could impersonate trusted users and move into systems that accepted those credentials. The FBI eventually traced the hack back to his house, and despite being only 15, James became the first juvenile ever sentenced for cybercrime in the US. He served house arrest and probation for years until in 2008 he committed an unliving. This hack made NASA lose over $2.8 billion worth of stocks and made NASA shut down for over 21 days. And NASA tries its best to this day to make sure people don't remember. Twitter breach of 2020. On July 15, 2020, Twitter suffered a massive security breach because hackers took control of a bunch of famous people's accounts like Joe Biden, Obama, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates. Once inside, the attackers tweeted a Bitcoin scam from these accounts, sending over $118,000 in Bitcoin before Twitter locked things down. They did this by social engineering. Hackers targeted Twitter employees through a phone spear phishing attack, tricking them into revealing credentials or clicking malicious links that gave access to internal tools. The crazy part was that it wasn't a sophisticated attack. It was by teenagers on Discord. The main guy was 17-year-old Graham Ivan Clark from Florida, who coordinated the breach with two others, Nima Fazeli and Mason Shepard, who were all thrown into prison for 3 years. The PlayStation Network hack. In 2011, hackers broke into Sony's PlayStation Network. They got into the databases by exploiting weaknesses in the systems with methods like SQL injection. They stole names, emails, birthdays, and even credit card info. It was so bad, Sony shut down PSN for 23 days. Over $171 million lost. A new name in hacking history, LowSec, a group that bragged about taking Sony down for the lulz. Because of this, Sony had to offer free games and security upgrades. Government officials in various countries voiced concern over the theft and Sony's 1-week delay before warning its use. Over 77 million individuals' credit card data was leaked, causing an insane amount of lawsuits which almost made Sony bankrupt. The Yahoo data breaches. Between 2013 and 2014, Yahoo suffered two massive intrusions that together rank among the largest data breaches ever, ultimately affecting up to 3 billion accounts. In 2013, attackers obtained Yahoo's internal authentication cookie handling code and used that to create forged session cookies, letting them access accounts without needing passwords. And in 2014, attackers copied a backup of Yahoo's user database and used that data to target valuable accounts and breach other services tied to those email addresses. With stolen data, people's bank accounts got drained, people had sensitive information exposed, and the internet was freaking out and even caused panic attacks for those affected. Yahoo ended up losing $350 million in a negotiation with Verizon and had a government investigation by the SEC in consecutive class action lawsuits up to $120 million. This was one of the worst hacking incidents in history, with over 1 billion accounts leaked. The hackers were Karim Beretov, who was sentenced to 5 years in U.S. federal prison, and Alexei Belin, who is wanted by the FBI and is actually on the FBI's most wanted list to this day. Yahoo struggles to recover from this massive loss. The SolarWinds hack. SolarWinds is a software company that makes tools to help other companies and organizations manage their computer networks, servers, and IT systems. Big organizations, including thousands of companies in U.S. government agencies, rely on SolarWinds to make sure everything runs smoothly. Because so many important organizations use SolarWinds, a single hack of its software could give attackers access to thousands of companies and government networks at once, which is exactly what happened in the SolarWinds supply chain hack. Attackers inserted a backdoor called Sunburst into software updates for SolarWinds' Orion network management product. When customers installed those trusted updates, the malware gave the attackers access into corporate and government networks. This was the largest, most sophisticated attack I have ever seen, says the president of Microsoft. It is estimated over 1,500 engineers were working together to hack this place. It is estimated that over $100 billion were lost between affected companies, and it's one of the darkest scandals in the tech world. The U.S. Pentagon breach. In 2023, a U.S. Air National Guard member, Jack Teixeira, had insider access to classified material from his role. With that, he shared classified U.S. military documents on Discord. The documents contained secret information about the war in Ukraine and other national security topics. The leaks were spread across Reddit, Discord, YouTube, and 4chan. It reviewed casualty estimates in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, contracts to send lethal aid to Israel, and alleged targets the government is spying on. The leak was widely described by officials as among the worst U.S. national security disclosures since WikiLeaks in 2010. Teixeira was arrested in April 2023. He later pleaded guilty in federal court 2 counts under the Espionage Act for willful retention and transmission of national defense information and received a lengthy federal sentence. And that wraps up the worst hacking incidents in internet history. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end. And if you disagree with anything or if I forgot something, let me know down below. See you guys later.